Hello from Cluj, Romania, and welcome to our live session. Whether you're joining us live or watching the recording, we are happy to see you here. I'm Catalina, and I'm marketing manager here at Trust You. And today, with the help of our special guest, we'll be guiding you through travel and hospitality data for the US region. This interview is part of a series of live streams that aim at providing you with the most relevant data from our review insights reports and valuable insights from our Trust You experts. We had two more sessions in the last weeks focusing on the EMEA and APAC data, and we were happy to see that our viewers found them useful, and we hope that this session will be insightful to you as well. If you want to check out the EMEA and APAC live stream, feel free to check our LinkedIn page or our website. These discussions are based on our Review Insights reports, which is a yearly research we launch at Trust You that offers a global perspective on the state of the travel industry on a yearly level. It is a combination of our own research with third party data to offer hoteliers as many information as possible that would help them in their decision making process. The reports are available in editions that reflect global data, but also for EMEA, DACH, APAC, and US. If you want to have a look at them, you can find on our website or on our LinkedIn page. And specifically today, our focus is on the US Review Insights report. And to help me navigate through all the data and share her valuable insights, we invited today Kelly Johnson, our Director of Marketing Operations. Hi, Kelly. Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Hi, from San Diego, California. I'm so happy to be here this morning.
Before we jump into our discussion, we would love to hear your thoughts as our viewers. Tell us in the comment section which is your favorite place in the US, whether you already visited it or not. And also, if you have any questions or thoughts, also feel free to put them in our comment section, which is at the right of our live stream. And we'll make sure to have a look at them at the end of our session. Kelly, what about you? What's your favorite place in your country?
I'd have to say my favorite place in the US is Zion National Park in Utah. I've been a few times and it's just an amazing, stunning, beautiful place. It's so hard to even put into words. And I highly recommend it if you're ever able to visit Utah or the West. It's amazing.
Oh, I've never been to US, but I guess I'll put it on my bucket list and hopefully I'll be there soon. Um, Now, let's kind of start this live stream. Tell us more about yourself and your role at Trust
Yeah,
You.
sure, for sure. I've been at Trust You for nearly 6 years. I'm currently overseeing our amazing marketing team. I've been in marketing operations for about 10 years and with a focus on building strong relationships between sales and product and marketing teams. So I'm all about the alignment of different departments and just, working together for the looking out for the best of the company.
What would be a key thing you learned about the hospitality industry since you joined Trust You?
I think one thing I love about the industry is that it's just something that pretty much anyone can relate to at some capacity, whether it's traveling for leisure, vacation, or business trips. I think, so many people have worked in a hotel or a restaurant, and I know there's always a story to tell of just different experiences that they've had with maybe a guest. Maybe it's not so good or it's funny, but I just love human connection. And to me, that's what hospitality is all about.
Yeah, it's an industry for the people by the people, basically, and people define it throughout all the journey.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
let's jump straight into US travel in 2021. How do you think it evolved compared to 2020?
I mean, we are seeing a slow but steady travel recovery. I mean, it's been a crazy couple of years, but compared to 2020, We're still not quite there at the pre pandemic levels. But from the data, the review volume for 2021 was up 40% compared to 2020. So what was really surprising was the number of international arrivals to the US was 77% lower than in 2020 as a result of the pandemic and travel restrictions. And that's a huge number. So, but even with these numbers, the US has registered the largest year over year growth in terms of travel and tourism contribution to GDP. So it is, it's good news that it's steady, but it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like over the next several months.
Yeah, for sure. And basically, in terms of this contribution to the GDP, which increased, this means that travelers in the US were willing to spend more.
Yeah, so the data we analyzed show that spending per trip has increased, and that could be because people saved money during the pandemic due to the strict lockdowns. At the end of 2021, the US almost reached its pre pandemic level in terms of overall travel spending. So that was also due to domestic travel. We do know that the US is one of the largest countries in the world, so there are a variety of attractions for everyone's taste. So whether it's families or solo travelers or adventure each, but domestic travel will remain a top choice for Americans in 2022. And of course, I'm sure this won't be too much of a surprise, but beach destinations seem to be the most popular. And our own data confirm that travelers visiting a beach destination were more likely to leave a positive review. So that's always interesting. I know that a lot of people are coming here to San Diego.
It's a popular destination, yeah.
Yep, definitely.
And what was the key challenge for the US hoteliers in 2021?
I think one of the specific challenges the US faces is related to having one of the highest mobile adoption rates globally. So that means that guests expect to have access to travel apps via their phones or iPads that will help them through the whole travel process. So for hoteliers, it means that you're likely to get an audience that would expect instant feedback to their requests, starting even from booking all the way to the checkout phase. And unfortunately, not all hotels are set up to manage this currently, which is where the challenge comes in. Also, from the reviews we analyzed, we noticed that the positive feedback given in the US is slightly lower than in other regions, which means our region has higher expectations in terms of their experience during a hotel stay. So maybe we're a little more spoiled. But this isn't a new trend, it's something we have observed for a couple of years. And then I would say another challenge, which seems to become a pretty big issue this year, and I'm sure everyone's familiar, is the staff shortage. So the industry has a high staff attrition rate. The latest numbers that we pulled show a 75% attrition rate in the US. So historically, this has always been a challenge, but it is more significant right now. Many hotels and accommodation units that shut down or suspended are having a harder time rehiring new staff. So I would say those are, the main challenges that we're seeing here.
Yeah, these are some insane numbers. Like basically, it means that only 1 out of 4 employees will actually stick longer in a
Exactly.
hotel, which is crazy when you put it like that. So, speaking about these staff shortages, what would help hoteliers cope better with them?
I mean, there's not really a magical solution that will make the problem disappear, but I do feel there are a couple of things that can make it a bit easier. I think being adaptable and searching for new ways of recruiting people is a good start. There are some really great recruiting apps that can simplify the process of finding temporary or part time staff. These are obviously pretty popular with the younger generation that are, tech savvy and do so many things through phones and through apps. And there are studies that show that the most important factor in employee engagement is the manager. So it's important that managers are well trained and can keep employees engaged and motivated. It helps to reduce staff turnover because the staff has job satisfaction. So if they're happy, they're obviously likely to stay. I also believe that automating some of the simple processes in various departments can really help hoteliers to shift their attention to what's most important, which kind of goes back to what I said earlier, is connecting with their guests. So I would say, there's a few things that can really help them out.
And let's come back to the first challenge that you have mentioned, adapting the offering to one of the most mobile friendly and critical audiences. How is this fitting now in the new era of travel? Is it still relevant?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely relevant. The industry is currently focused on implementing tech solutions that will help hoteliers to manage the guest experience, which it makes it easier for guests to leave a review and interact with staff and resolve any issues that they have on site. So this is a huge trend that we're seeing. A challenge with this, though, is keeping that human touch that helps build relationships and earn the trust of your guests. But at the end of the day, travelers are looking for experiences, and that's why communicating genuinely with them outside of a screen is essential part of building connection. So it's kind of finding that balance between technology and still being human and making that connection. It's just kind of a balance there.
Yeah, it's a combination. I think it's good to think as a technology not replacing the human connection, but just kind of enhancing it. And speaking of it, which let's have a look at how Trust You helps hoteliers to build a genuine relationships with their guests. This was our brand refresh video we launched at the beginning of this year. We created it as a statement that confirms our support for hoteliers in this new era of travel, where trust and building stronger guest relationships have become more important than ever. Feel free to contact us at info@trustyou.com if you want to learn more about how we help hoteliers prevent negative feedback and solve issues on the go. And now we'll go back to our research. Each year, the Review Insights reports include a section that features the top three impact scores. The impact scores are a series of categories such as service, location, housekeeping, and how much they influence the hotel performance. What were the three main positive impact scores for the US region, those that are more likely to improve the performance score of a hotel?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said earlier, the last couple of years have brought on a lot of changes in the industry. The top three positive categories reflect the changes and trends as a result of the pandemic. So, service friendliness is actually the only pre-pandemic category that's still in the top three. So, guests are still looking for a genuine interaction with staff, and that's why contactless solutions have a human touch. The other top categories are location and beach are the new joiners for our top three. Location relates to how well the hotel is positioned against specific points of interest, but it's also exterior space and how well the property is maintained. Beach is the third, confirming a trend that we saw in our research as well that we talked about earlier. It shows that Americans prefer to book their stays close to beach destinations. And I can definitely confirm that the beaches here are crowded with visitors already, even though it's still early June. Um, but I feel like after being on lockdown, people are excited to be outside, and who doesn't love the ocean?
Yeah, it's the same trend that we witnessed for other regions as well. Like for example, in the APAC, if I remember well, I think beach was like in like the first category
Mhm.
in 2021. But what about the top three negative impact scores?
So the top three negative impact scores are all evolving around hotel rooms. So guests pay a lot of attention to the maintenance and cleanliness of the room. These are the top two categories that can negatively impact your hotel performance. In terms of cleanliness, it seems that it's definitely a trend that's here to stay. The pandemic has set a whole other standard in terms of cleanliness, which will continue to have a huge impact on guest satisfaction. So the last in the top three is more of a general category. It tells us that it's not enough to have just a clean room, but guests are looking for a well-equipped, comfortable, private room.
Yeah, I think I've read one article that basically said cleanliness is the new standard for luxury.
Exactly.
So it's,
I think COVID-19 and a pandemic has really made us all turn into germaphobes.
yeah, it's here to stay. Um, and about 2022, let's have a look a little bit on how do you think um, travel will look and how does it look so far?
Well, like I said, we are off to a promising start. According to our data, the review volume has doubled compared to the first quarter of 2021, but still is yet to reach the pre pandemic level. We think it's a sign of a good year ahead. People seem eager to travel and plan to visit both domestic and international. I'm sure this won't be a huge surprise, but younger generations like Gen Zs and millennials are the ones that plan to travel more. And then older generations are the ones who plan to spend more. So, COVID seems to be less of a barrier to travel with the number of vaccinated people increasing. 2022 seems to be a great opportunity for people to start traveling almost as before the pandemic.
So far seems to be very promising, and we really hope that it will get even better throughout the year. And actually, if you want to have a look at our latest data in terms of travel and hospitality, you can have a look at our freshly released Pulse of the Industry report, where we include global and regional data for the first quarter of 2022. And we would look also at the emerging trends in the industry. You can find the report available for free download either on our website, on the resources section, or on our LinkedIn page. And we're almost at the end of our live stream. And before we look at the comments and questions our viewers have, one last thought, Kelly, that you would like to share with our audience.
Yeah, I definitely recommend that. The Pulse of the Industry report, there's so many great statistics in there and it's full of really valuable information. So I agree. I hope everyone checks that out. But overall, I'm just really excited that people are traveling the world again. I think the pandemic has really taken a toll on us, and it's just great to see people are planning trips and traveling. I feel like we all had a lot of time to think about all the places that we want to visit, maybe picked up travel books along the way, and people are just planning and actually getting out there. So I'm just happy to see the upward trend.
Yeah, let's hope we have the necessary time, resources, and everything that we need to visit as many destinations as possible, whether we're just traveling for leisure or for business. All right. Well, thanks, Kelly, for sharing your thoughts and experiences. If you have any questions for Kelly, now is the time. Feel free to drop them in the comment section. And I'll be having a look to see exactly if we have any questions from our audience, just looking through our comments. Yeah, actually, we have one question. I will display it here on the screen. So we have a question from Radwane. So he asks, what do you think that are the main reasons behind the success of Trust You Life Experience products in the US market?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that because, like we talked about, mobile is so important here. I think that with all that was transpired with social distancing and not being within a certain amount of feet of people, I think in the last couple of years we've all really gotten accustomed to using our phones for communication, and also it's just been a really easy way for people to ask for, like, to make requests and get instant answers. So whether it's making a request for additional towels or maybe asking about, the Wi-Fi. It's just a really easy way for people to respond quickly. And it's an amazing opportunity for hoteliers to for service recovery. So if there is an issue, instead of waiting until the person's off site, they can correct it right then. And I think the more that happens, the more people realize, like, hey, I can get a solution now versus, you know, provide a review when they're already gone and it doesn't matter as much anymore. But it's just a great way for to communicate and to solve issues on the spot. So I think with the use of phones and technology, it's just people are really getting used to that here. It's almost like, if they don't have a way to message the hotels directly, it just they're less likely to go face to face and ask for a solution. So I just think honestly, I just think that the use of tech is just a huge trend and I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's gonna increase.
Yeah.
So I feel like we all need to adapt to it. And I think the US is just a little maybe ahead of the game in that realm because we all have a phone addiction.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand with the needs of the U.S. market and the audience back in the U.S. Thanks so much, Radwan, for your question. Let's see if we have any other question or comments. As far as I see, there are no other questions or thoughts, but feel free to still write your thoughts. We'll be able to have a look at them at the end of the session and also reply to them afterwards. So thanks everyone for joining us today in this conversation about the state of travel in the US in 2021. Today with us was Kelly Johnson, our Director of Marketing Operations, who shared with us insights from our US Regional Review Insights report. And if you are looking for more data on the travel and hospitality industry, make sure to follow us on LinkedIn and visit our website. You can access there the freshly released Pulse of the Industry report, where we take a look at the first quarter of 2022 for the travel and hospitality industry, and the two other live streams on the APAC and EMEA data. And what's next for us? We're looking forward to our Q2 platform event that will happen on June 28th. And the webinar will be actually focused on the insights from the Pulse of the Industry report that we recently launched. So join us for not only global overview of what the data said, but also on regional breakdowns that will give you insights into what is impacting your destinations the most. We hope to see you there. Stay tuned on our social. We'll be coming with more details soon. And now our data marketing live streams have come to an end. We hope these sessions brought you relevant data to support your daily decision-making process. Let us know your thoughts and feedback, or if you have any other subject you'd like to be discussed in a similar format. And if you have any questions related to our data or for Kelly, contact us at info@trustyou.com and we'll make sure to reply. It was a pleasure for us, guys. Bye. Take care.
Bye.